we are talking about very small amounts, and we are talking about limited caliber and capacity of weapons, small arms weapons, assault rifles. The Israeli reasoning, or those in Israel that are making those decisions, is that this is something that can be managed on a local level.
Jonathan Concricus went live on CNN to discuss the aid distribution centers, and of course, something new. Israel deployed a Palestinian unit against Hamas, made from the civilians in Gaza. That could be good news. Let's take a look.
Former IDF spokesman Jonathan Concricus joins me now as a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, co-founder as well of Bottom Line Media. Jonathan, good to have you.
Good to be here. Shalom.
Given the history here, right? I mean, even Israel's previous history of funding Hamas, why wouldn't this backfire?
I think that there are fair chances that it will, and I think that a lot of current and former security personnel, and of course many politicians who oppose Netanyahu, are very vocal that the chances of this backfiring are significant. We've been there before, we as in Israel, trying to arm the enemies of our enemies in order for them to do battle. Usually that hasn't worked out too well, but we'll have to see. Time will tell if this was a smart move or if it was questionable use of funds and strange choice of allies during war.
Yeah, because if Israel's goal here, right, as stated repeatedly, is to eliminate Hamas, but also calm Gaza, right, eventually end the fighting, how is this controllable is the question, right? How do you control this down the line?
Yeah, it's worth mentioning and keeping into perspective that we are talking about very small amounts, and we are talking about limited caliber and capacity of weapons, small arms weapons, assault rifles. As far as I know, I haven't seen reports of heavy weapons, missiles, RPGs, or explosives. That would put it in a different league.
Yeah.
And I think the Israeli reasoning, or those in Israel that are making those decisions, is that this is something that can be managed on a local level. It is just about the goals that you mentioned. I wouldn't say that Israel's goal yet is to calm the situation in Gaza. Israel's goal is to defeat Hamas, get the hostages back, and return security and safety for Israelis. Calming Gaza and stabilizing events, that will come much later down the road once main kinetic operations, main combat operations have been completed.
I want to ask you as well, given the ongoing challenges feeding the people of Gaza, in particular with this new Israeli and U.S.-backed effort here, I just wonder, from a big picture perspective, do you consider Israel's current efforts to allow aid into Gaza, to feed the people of Gaza, do you consider them sufficient?
Well, it's a good question. But if we look at numbers, they've been the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, they've distributed more than 8 million meals in about a week. That definitely puts a dent, or should put a dent, in any claims or fears of famine in Gaza. And I think that overall, albeit except for a rough starting, I think it looks like it's working. Not perfect, and it's rough. And the big picture, as you said, it's really, really important here. And I think that what we're looking at is the possible beginning of the end of Hamas, because controlling the supply of food, which is what Hamas has been able to do through UN organizations like UNRWA up until now, is something that is very important for Hamas, and I would even say crucial for their ability to continue to govern Gaza and to oppress the population and hold them under their sway. Now that Israel is finally challenging that and presenting an alternative to Palestinians, big picture-wise, Hamas is threatened, and I think they have a very clear interest in trying to derail this effort. And I think that they will stop at nothing in order to undermine it, no matter how many Palestinians will be killed and what the consequences are. I think Hamas are threatened by it, and they will want to stop it because it's a danger for their rule.
Jonathan Concricus joining us from Tel Aviv. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So two things. First of all, the claim that Israel is arming civilians to go against Hamas is confirmed. I think, opinion, that it's a good move. If the IDF can beat them alone, and they can, but they can't do it, by dropping countless bombs on them, then having people on the inside to fight them, the people who oppress them, the people with a lot of anger towards them, I think that's a smart move. I don't know if it's going to backfire, no idea. But if there's one thing I can guarantee you is that down the line, in a few years, people will say, Israel armed Palestinians and blah. Yalla, give us a break. We don't care what you say. We'll do whatever we need to do to defeat Hamas. As for the aid distribution centers, they've been pretty efficient. But today, I've received a report that humanitarian aid workers, international humanitarian aid workers, were killed by Hamas. At least 5. Hamas keeps messing up time and time again. Their PR isn't working anymore, and people are actually seeing what's happening. So people are getting food because Israel and America is finally providing the food that Hamas keeps stealing. Israel is operating in a unit inside Gaza with Palestinians to fight Hamas, which I think is amazing. And finally, that's the key sentence. We're finally starting to see the beginning of the end of Hamas. Beautiful. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to support me financially, you can do so through Buy Me Coffee or Patreon down in the links in the description. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.